I'm installing the Bavarian Demon Cortex in my 50cc Airworks Edge 540. But it's not going to be hard to find a home for this thing in just about any airplane because it's little. The case is all machined aluminum and this thing weighs like 18 grams, so you're not going to upset the CG with a little bit of forethought on where you're installing it. I moved my main battery packs over just a little bit and there's plenty of room for the Cortex next to my SmartFly board. And it's going to wind up just about on the center line of the airplane. I got the version that comes with the optional USB cable, but you always get these double-sided sticky foam squares for attaching the Cortex, and this wiring harness that really makes this a lot easier than it looks. That harness has a keyed plug that actually makes this pretty hard to mess up. I'm using a SmartFly power board, so the Cortex goes between the signal wires and the receiver. I know this looks scary, but they give you a diagram that really makes this easy. You just start at one end and work your way over to the other. You can't get it wrong. I used the thinner of the two double-sided foam pads for attaching the Cortex, and I put this plastic tie wrap on loose just to hold it so it can't shake itself free. It's not tight at all. I reassigned the auxiliary 3 channel to the auxiliary 2 3-position switch for controlling the Cortex. The gains for the normal and hold settings are done with setting the travel in auxiliary 3. I've got 20% for the normal side and 50% for the hold, but we'll adjust these later after we fly the plane. You get a bind plug with the system that goes in this last channel, and it works just like binding a radio to its receiver. The Quick Start card has this chart on it that describes the lights that are going to flash on the unit. And that tells you when you're supposed to move the sticks to set the programming. When you get the first 2 green lights, you move the aileron stick to the right and hold it. When it flashes once, you move the stick to the left and hold it, and so on. You just follow the chart down and move the sticks as it tells you. It's important to note that we start moving the sticks to the positions described on the card after we get the first 2 green flashes. We hold it in that position. When we get the next green flash, we move it to the other side as the card describes, and hold it there. We follow this through for the ailerons, elevator, and the rudder. When we complete the last rudder command, the green light will start to flicker like this and keep on doing that. And then we remove the bind plug and then power the unit down, and that saves all the settings in the memory. To check and see if the corrections are being made in the right direction, we just move the plane. We lift the tail up and down, the elevator should go up and down with it to counteract that kind of movement. All of the control surfaces should move to counteract the movement that we're putting in. If we move the tail to the right, the rudder goes to the right to counteract that and straighten the plane out. And the same goes for the ailerons. You tilt the plane, the ailerons move to counteract that movement. Here the plane is in the hold mode where you get the largest control movements. In the normal mode, we get the same kind of control movements, only they're smaller. All that's left before flying it is to run the motor up with the plane secured to make sure that we don't have any ignition interference with the Cortex. That's going to be pretty rare these days, but it's easy to find out on the ground before you put the plane in jeopardy. In the next video, we'll take it to the field and start flying it and start tweaking the gain settings if they need some adjustment.